Welcome to another Rolled in Reacts episode. This customer came in to replace their lower ball joint just in time. Customer states, my steering wheel feels kinda light. Yeah. And this customer came into the shop and insisted on driving onto the lift themselves. And this truck came in for a tire swap, but when the mechanic opened the rear door, he discovered something a bit weird. Turns out that the owner keeps bunnies as a hobby. Huh, that's a first. The customer drove their BMW into the shop with the lower ball joint determined not to give up. This customer accidentally added power steering fluid to their brake system after they had just installed new rotors and pads by themselves. The brakes locked on the highway and ended up catching on fire. This customer came in because of an oil leak. The mechanic drained the entire pan of oil of around 5 quarts, but it was still a good 1.5 inches over full. Apparently the truck ended up having a transmission leak and the owner had used the wrong stick when checking the oil level. He ended up overfilling his engine by a total of 7 quarts. This customer refused to get their leaking tire fixed and just fixed it themselves in their own creative way, but ended up coming into the shop a couple days later. And you just gotta love these new inspection windows on the 22 Ford F-150s. Just stick your finger in there, check it out, quick and easy. Customer states, I just need an oil change. Don't try to sell me something else. This customer had apparently installed a new exhaust all by themselves. This customer came in because they stated that their fuel tanks seemed to be leaking after they had been parked on the street for a week. And this brick Volvo is not your average grocery getter. And this is some really serious technician stuff, okay? This 2019 Ford Ranger came in on a tow truck because the customer had accidentally dropped a socket into the engine. And this is what the mechanic found once he opened it up. Thankfully, the customer's insurance covered the cost of a replacement engine. This Volkswagen Tiguan came in for a knock-in engine. The mechanic drained the engine of oil and it looks like water because it's 0W20 oil. But what's unfortunate for this customer is that there's also quite a bit of metal flakes floating around in it. And this customer had driven their car like this for about a year before finally deciding to come into the shop to have it fixed. Customer states, went to a cheap repair shop to get a remote start installed, but now my car acts weird. And this customer came in stating wobbling sounds coming from the front right wheel. This customer last had their oil changed 51,000 miles ago, despite having a prepaid maintenance plan. And this steering wheel kinda sounds like a dolphin. And this Dodge Journey came in because the owner complained about it being too bumpy when driving. Looks good. This customer was driving their newly purchased Dodge Challenger home when they suddenly heard a bang from underneath the car. And this guy had just bought his first car and needed to change his wheel bearing. He didn't have enough money to bring it into a shop, so he decided to do it himself. He knew it was bad, but he didn't know it was this bad.
One more time.
And this is U-Haul's pretty ineffective catalytic converter cage. And apparently when updating the software on your Volkswagen, you get to choose how long it should take. And this customer came in and asked for their tires to be patched and stated that they still had a couple thousand miles left on them. This 2021 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid came in because the high voltage battery was not charging. Hopefully this customer has some good insurance because everything related to the high voltage system on this model is located underneath the car. This mechanic had done a brake job on his personal car and accidentally forgot the jack underneath. And this customer wanted fog lights on their car, so they just installed them all by themselves, using some flashlights that they had lying around, and apparently even wired them to a dash switch. This car apparently had double lug nuts on a non-double wheel. Thankfully, the mechanic noticed this in time and the customer agreed to getting the proper lug nuts installed. Customer states, strange noise after I ran something over. Customer came in because they had replaced the transmission filter and pan gasket on his own and wanted the mechanic to see if it was done right.
That they heard a pop while driving and then it started to smoke and then stopped working.
The mechanic said that the customer declined to have the car diagnosed further and said that he was gonna leave the car at the dealership to get repossessed. Customer states, belt does not want to retract. This customer came in because they complained about their car having starting issues. This is what happens when a car has been sitting outside for 6 months with no hood and valve cover, with only an old towel covering the intake. Luckily though for this car, after getting some new cams, lifters and rockers, it somehow ran okay again.
Approximately 10 hours later.
And this car's valve cover gasket must be pretty non-existent for there to be that much oil in there. And this is actually a feature so that you don't accidentally get out of your truck while it's not in park and rolling. This customer came in because they complained about a clunking sound coming from underneath their car. The mechanic found that the transmission mount missed quite a few bolts. And this customer states, I think water is coming through my windshield.
Yeah, I would say so.
And this customer had their power steering fixed recently, but still complains about the wheel feeling kinda heavy. And this customer decided to go off-roading a little bit with their car, and was now wondering why it was overheating all of a sudden. No damage was done to the radiator, and once all the dirt was gone, it fixed the heating issue. Timmy! Get your fingers out of that truck right now! This customer came in with their F-150 saying he had steering issues. The mechanic found the electric rack and pinion to be filled with water. This 2003 Nissan Altima came in because the owner complained about a loss of power, oil pressure light coming on, and it randomly stalling on him. Apparently, the owner had kept the engine on a low oil diet, and this is the amount of metal that the mechanic found in the oil filter. Customer states, "I just need some wheel balancing, thank you." This car came in and the owner stated, "My battery has exploded, please replace it." The mechanic noticed that the battery was quite new and ended up finding some clues as to what might have actually caused it.
Oh boy, whoa. Well, what's that from? What's that from? Oh, I get it now.
This car came in with a transmission issue, but it ended up being so severe that the mechanic recommended the customer to get a used one and just replace it instead. This customer drove in with this pretty new tire despite having road assistance that they could have used. This customer came in because they just couldn't open their window. And this customer had accidentally ran over a stop sign with their car. Luckily for them though, they had shut off the engine right on time. This customer had just bought this car the night before and found a small oil puddle on their driveway the next morning. This truck driver said that he started having transmission issues in the middle of nowhere and had to drive over 800 miles on only 3rd, 6th, 7th and 9th gear to get to the shop. This customer came in because of their alarm going off randomly, but no complaints about the rear differential making any noise whatsoever. And this customer had an oil leak after hitting something small on his way back from work. The owner of this Camaro had hit a curb really hard, which had pushed the steering rack into the oil pan, causing it to sound like this, and it apparently also drove in like this. And this customer had just purchased this used Kia Niro but came in because it overheated after only a few days of use. Because the Niro is a hybrid, it's got a heat exchanger in the exhaust to help with fuel efficiency during cold starts. The mechanic discovered that the exhaust was pretty beat up and the coolant lines not even connected to the heat exchanger. And this customer came in complaining about a burnt smell coming from their engine after it suddenly shut down on them and wouldn't start again. Customer states, "Was driving on sand, floored it until I came onto pavement and then heard a loud bang from the rear and my car suddenly stopped moving." This customer came in to get their wheels balanced. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and until next time.